Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about my keybinds and what keybinds might be best for you. So basically, keybinds are kind of preference, but I have a few things changed, and I'll give my idea as behind why I have it like that, and you guys can kind of figure out if you want to do that as well. So basically here under controls is where keybinds are. I'll go over each of these. So under abilities, the only thing that I've changed is ability 2 to mouse button 4, which is basically, you guys can see my mouse here. It's kind of probably hard to see actually. It's the one on the left right here. It's for the right for you guys actually, but so C, E, and X, these are all default. These are nice because they're all kind of near each other. C and X especially, then E's right next to W, A, S, D. Good alternatives for this are Q and Z, but I use those for other things. And you can, if you notice, I have two buttons on my mouse. You can actually do that as well. So other than that, movement is all pretty standard. W, A, S, D. Run should be default instead of walk. So walk is left shift. I don't know if that's default. It apparently isn't, but that's pretty normal, I feel like. Toggle walk you want off because that would feel really weird. Maybe if you really want, but basically having toggle off means you have to hold shift to actually walk. And space to jump. A lot of people like to use scroll wheel to jump. That's because they come from Counter-Strike, but I would definitely suggest scroll wheel if you want to try it out. Otherwise, no shame in using spacebar. I've pretty much always used it, even in Counter-Strike. But yeah, so crouch is left control for me. I know it's defaulted to C, but again, I use C up here for my abilities. These are all pretty much preference. I don't have too much crazy things to say about all these. These are spectator stuff. Also, toggle crouch off. I would highly suggest that as well. So onto equipment. Weapons, we have fire and alternate fire. This is basically just shooting, and this is aiming down sights like this. These are pretty standard. Toggle zoom level, this is definitely something you might want to consider binding. I don't know if it's bound by default, but this is basically when you have an op. So whenever you have an op, you want to change these here. You're going to have aim down sights and sniper rifle aim to hold, like 100%. These are really good. Because having toggle puts you at a disadvantage pretty much. This is just objectively better, but whenever you hit alt, whenever you're zoomed in, it just zooms you in like this, to the more magnified zone or area. What am I saying? Anyways, so yeah, if you have these on, these don't matter because you don't need them. Reload is R, that's pretty standard. Equipment, primary, secondary, and then these are all just 1 through 4. Equip spike is 4. You could probably find a better bind for that, honestly. But yeah, also mouse button up and down. I don't usually use those. I usually use the next bind that we're about to talk about here. So drop equipped item is G. That's default. Q, equip last used item. I would highly suggest you guys bind this. And if it is bound already, just start using it because it helps you get between weapons a lot more efficiently. So like I usually have it between my strongest weapon and then my knife. So like, then you just hit the button. So for me, it's Q. You can just swap between your knife and your best weapon, so you can actually run quite quickly instead of having to scroll through all your weapons. That's pretty, that's for like relatively new people, I feel like, but still pretty good. Prioritize strongest weapon. This is if you get res, you'll be holding whatever weapon you have out. I just have it off because I don't really know, honestly. Interaction, inspect weapon. This is my other mouse button. Basically just inspects your gun, just like this. Use objects F, which is like a rope, door, whatever other gimmicks are in all the maps. Plant is just 4, but also you can just pull the spike out and click with it. Spray is T, so I can't spray in the range. That's okay though. Communication, these are all pretty straightforward. I don't really want to talk about all of this because it's not really necessary. Basically, my push talk is important. That's V. The party one is C, but again, that's for party. So another alternative to push a talk might be your mouse button. One of your mouse buttons. A lot of people like to use that because it's really easy to do and you don't have to think about doing it if you're not used to doing it. One thing I would definitely suggest binding is some of these radio commands. I don't know how effective they actually are at getting your team to do stuff, but I just kind of like to have it. So the social radio here, as you can see,
thank you.
You can do these things.
Yes. Nope. Forgive me.
So we can probably bind this to, let's see, like tactics.
I'm taking point. Rush them. Be quiet.
Yeah, so you can pretty much bind any of this stuff. It's kind of cool.
Need help.
Whichever one you feel like would be most useful for you. I just like having the social one just for fun, but I would highly suggest binding this. Also, you can use period, and you can go through all of them, but it kind of takes a little bit longer, so That's why I have just one of them bound. And pretty much other than that, there's not much too important stuff in here. So interface, we have... Yeah, I don't think the map's under these, which is interesting. I think it's under general. But there's not too much important here. In is important, so you can see... Oh, here's the map. Okay. So I like to have map on toggle, so I can just... That means you just hit it, and then it opens up. Then you hit it again, and it closes. And pretty much everything else I'm not really going to talk about. These are kind of just more chill binds. So the most important ones are going to be of course, these. So like I said already, I would suggest that you have your abilities near each other spatially on the keyboard. So around W, A, S, and D, and then also for your mouse buttons, if you have multiple mouse buttons, that's really good. Things that I change here are going to be Q. I would definitely use this. A lot of people probably use Q for their abilities, but I use this to swap weapons. So it doesn't really matter what button you use. I would just highly suggest using this bind. And yeah. So if you guys have any questions about binds or anything, or if this is helpful, let me know. Also, if you guys like my new camera, let me know that as well. But without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.